So today we're going to be looking at the impact that generational differences have on social media and how we as marketers and as businesses and as brands, how we can use that information to make better decisions about which social media platforms to pay the most amount of attention to, but also how much attention span that our generations are giving us. This is all goes into how we make a good plan so that we can use our time and our money the most efficient way possible and get the best results out of it at the end of the day. Welcome back to another episode of 3 for 3, your podcast for learning everything about what's going on right now in marketing and how it affects your business and how you can use this information to make better decisions when it comes to marketing and everything that surrounds that. So on the show, this is actually a first for our show. We have 4 participants on the show. Usually it's a one-on-one interview, and sometimes we've got 3 people in total, but we have the most ever people on the show. And I've got myself that's going to be participating in this, but we've got people from each generation. So I'm going to do an introduction here for each generation. So starting with Gen Z, our youngest in the group, I welcome to the show Taylor Smith.
Hello.
And representing the millennial group, we have Josh McCutcheon.
Hello, hello, hello.
And I will be the figure for the Gen X representation. And from our boomer, we have our creative director, Tim Klinger.
Hello, and I am the old guy. So
and I do believe this is Tim's first appearance on the podcast.
This is. Thank you.
Welcome. We're glad to have you on the show. So what we've done for this is we've structured this so that each of us is going to have a chance to answer what platforms we use, where we spend the most amount of time on social media, and then talking a little about purchasing trends and how that's going for us. And then Josh, as our social media trends expert in the office, has put together some research to give us a little bit of context on the way that we have. So we have individual case studies, and then is that similar to the trends or is it different? And what are the trends showing us right now? Okay, so let's get started. The first question that we have here is, which social media platform do you use the most and why? So Taylor, you're first up.
Yeah, so I definitely use TikTok the most. So the reason why I use it is because I really like the diversity of the entertainment that's on it. So like I learn everything from how to cook meals to what's going on in our world. Use it a lot for news actually, and yeah, I just really like the diversity in it.
Okay, great. All right, so moving on to the millennial generation, Josh, what do you use the most and why?
So I would say YouTube, um, because there's so much stuff on there that's so incredibly useful. Like you can learn anything that you want to learn on YouTube by just typing in like whatever it is, and you have a bunch of videos that pop up with tutorials and all that kind of stuff. I watch a lot of gaming content. But I also watch, like lately, I've been into fitness stuff. So I've been watching all these different videos on like techniques and how to use, certain machines and how to have correct forms. So yeah, I'd say YouTube by far is my most used platform.
Okay, very good. Well, for the Gen X, and just for myself, I was looking at my phone to see what the answer was, and I use TikTok the most. And I use it because I think it feels the most fresh, the most from a content perspective. It gives me new videos, and it takes a different approach. I think a lot of the other platforms feel a little bit redundant at times, and maybe it's not as current, but I think it's maybe the most entertaining as well. So that's my vote. And Tim, what's yours?
Well, probably Instagram would be number one.
Hmm.
And that would be for me personally because I am a visual person. So I prefer, and I follow a lot of, say, photographers and uh, some it, accounts where I see beauty. And I appreciate that. Probably YouTube would be number two, probably be a close number two. Um, there would, just for what Josh talked about, uh, just the wide variety of uh, videos that are there. Anything that, I learn a lot about blood sugar control, about whiskey, which contradicts blood sugar control. And, it just a lot of things. And I use Facebook mainly to keep in touch with old friends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about where I am. And Twitter for my, or X for my news feed, basically.
Yeah, interesting. Well, while we're going through maybe our next like top three or top four, I'm gonna go in reverse here. So we just heard from Tim what his top three or four were there. Mine were TikTok and then Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Josh, what would be your top three?
Top three. I actually could do a top four as well. I have YouTube, then Facebook, then Instagram, and then Snapchat, which we won't be talking a whole lot about Snapchat on here, but like we used to all have Snapchat in high school, and I still have all my friends on there. And um, Snapchat is like the app where you can post stuff that you normally wouldn't want your family to see. Not that we do that at all, but that's just, yeah.
We'll
I'll
put
end there.
we'll put Josh's Snapchat handle in the comments in case
Yeah, if you want to
anybody's
follow
really
me
curious
and
about
get
that last
rejected,
comment. All right,
exactly.
Taylor, what's your top three or four?
TikTok, YouTube, then Instagram.
Cool. All right,
Yep.
Josh. So what did your research tell you about this topic?
So some of it's pretty consistent with what we said, and some of it's not. So for Gen Z, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok are the top social media apps among Gen Z. Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram are the top social media apps among millennials. Gen X says Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram are their favorite apps. And Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn are the most popular among boomers. And that research comes from HubSpot.
Okay.
So,
Did anything surprise you about that or anything that stood out?
the first two, not really. Um, no, not necessarily. There's no Twitter on there, which is not really surprising. Twitter's kind of taken a dive ever since they rebranded to X. But the Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram are my top social media apps. And I have a feeling, Taylor, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok are yours top as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but I was surprised by you, Kurt, because you said TikTok is your most used app, and that's not. I don't think that's very common with Gen X, but TikTok is rising in popularity year by year. Hopefully, it doesn't go away anytime soon. But yeah, that surprised me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's circle around. Let's head over to question number two, which is how much time do you spend on social media? Now, hopefully, all of our participants had a chance to maybe go on their phones and get a sense for, you can, if you've got an iPhone, it will tell you how much time you spend on it and give you pretty accurate answers. Taylor, what's your honest answer? How much time do you spend on social media per week?
So I looked last night just because I was prepping for this today, and not proud of it. But I spend the most time on TikTok, which is an average of 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
When that's just TikTok. I think it said I average about 4.5 total on different social media platforms.
Okay.
So I'm not too proud of that.
I think it can be eye-opening when you see the actual statistics.
Yeah.
Okay, Josh, what do you got?
Well, I am a social media content creator, so I'd say, uh, in addition to the 5 hours or 8 hours that I spent every day, or every weekday, um, a little under 2 hours. Some days it's more, some days it's less,
So
but a little,
personally, you're thinking of a little over 2 hours?
yeah, yep.
Okay. Okay. Well, I did my average on for last week. So of course everything varies, but over the last week, I averaged 81 minutes on social media on all the platforms. So an hour 20, which I thought was going to be a lot higher than that, but that's where it was. And Tim, what do you got?
I didn't really look on my phone because I basically, I mean, I don't really watch YouTube on my phone, but I would put mine about what yours is,
Um,
between an hour to an hour and a half.
mhm.
Again, some days more, some days less, but mostly it's at night when I have a hockey game or baseball game on and I'm looking at Instagram or Facebook. YouTube, I'll just watch on my iPad. So, but I didn't check that.
So you will multitask and you'll do the split screen thing. I don't do that very often myself. At least I find it hard unless there's something that I don't really care about too much on another screen. Josh, are you a split screen social media? Are you doing something at the same time that you're participating in social media?
So I watch a lot of YouTube on my TV at home. And the number that I gave you originally was based off the statistics that pop up on my phone, but I guess I didn't take into account the amount of YouTube I actually watch at home on my TV. So I do a lot of split screens in terms of, like, sometimes I'll be on my computer with YouTube playing on my TV, or like cooking or something like that. So yes, I do the split screen.
And I think it's really hard to discern the difference between just straight up social media and what could be considered like a TV show on YouTube. Uh,
Mhm.
so fair enough that you left that out to begin with.
Yeah.
And Taylor, are you a dual screen watcher?
Yeah, I do. I do it all the time. It's actually pretty hard for me to focus on a single task without, and that might be that attention span that everyone keeps talking about. It's like it's really difficult for me to not have like a YouTube video playing when I'm doing other tasks.
Yeah, okay. And do you see that as a weakness because you can't focus on one thing at a time, or do you see it as a superpower where you can do both at the same time and take it all in and just get as much in at the same time?
I don't know, because honestly, it's kinda indifferent. It's just background noise a lot of the time, like, it's just something to play while you're working. It's kinda more like using music as that, a lot of people listen to music while they work. It's just it's just different YouTubes playing. So, I would say neither. It's just background noise.
So I'm at a takeaway there, which something I did not see coming, but that to me says there is a significant importance to having good audio with your videos if you want to attract what would be the traditional younger generation. If you are just doing video, you may just get lost.
Yeah, I would say so,
Sure.
because a lot of the time I'm not actually watching the video, I'm just listening to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I would
Yeah.
say that I would agree with that. That's a lot of my YouTube, like even just here at work, I'll have on something on YouTube, but I'm not watching it.
Hmm.
I'm just listening to it.
Hmm.
I'm working as I'm listening. So it's that kind of multitasking thing. It's not much different than listening to a podcast or music. So
Man, I hope this recording has good audio. Uh, but I'm the same way. I listen to a lot of podcasts on YouTube while I'm working or doing something.
mhm.
I'm a big podcast guy.
So, Josh, what did your research tell you about how much time is spent on social media?
Well, I have a chart here that kind of breaks things down by age range, and I won't go through the entire chart, but the biggest thing that stands out is that um, TikTok, among almost every generation, uh, people spend the most time on TikTok, which is almost surprising because YouTube has longer form videos, and I know TikTok's getting into that too. But I would think it's YouTube, but no, nope. Everyone spends the most time on TikTok. The boomer generation looks like they spend the most time on Facebook. So that's another thing that stands out. Research that I did aside from this chart, it looked like YouTube was in second place for the amount of time that people spend on that platform. And every year these numbers just keep increasing, aside from X. That the number actually decreased for X. They've been going downhill a little bit. So
That's interesting. It's interesting to know
yeah,
that it keeps increasing year after year, and with the one exception there.
yeah, and it's in small increments, but it's still going up.
Okay, so let's wrap this up and hit question number 3 here, which may be the most relevant to audiences, particularly that are interested in selling something. So the question is, have you ever purchased a product or a service from social media? Taylor, how do you answer that question?
I have not personally bought a product directly through social media, but I can say I have been influenced to buy products through social media. There's like certain accounts again on TikTok that'll like go and review like the dollar section of Target or the home goods section of like Aldi's, showcasing like what kind of special items they have for the week, and that would then go influence me. So purchase not directly through, there is like a TikTok shop and stuff, if you guys didn't know that, but um, definitely influenced.
Okay, so Josh, on the millennial front, how would you answer this question?
I have, and I don't remember everything that I purchased, but my most recent purchase was True Classic T-shirts. The ad came up on my Facebook feed. I clicked on it once, and then it started popping up everywhere else. But True Classic shirts are like they're well-fitted shirts for guys, and you know, they're not cheap, but I would say social media played a part in that. And another thing that I purchased, it was a Spider-Man suction cup web shooter for my nephew. Definitely not for personal use or anything, but I I've also bought one of those.
Yeah, we all know that you're not a big fan of Spider-Man. It's just too creepy crawly for you.
Yeah, it's that's for kids. I'm 28. Okay, so
Superheroes and all of that, that is definitely just for kids. I can vouch for that as well. Well, I can answer for myself, and I probably do. I'm gonna go against the trends in many of these questions. I'm looking like 3 things in front of me at my office computer and desk that I purchased from social media. I have a decoration, a skin for my computer, for my laptop. I have a pad, a big computer pad for that I bought off TikTok, and I love my artistic vinyl additions to my office. Which, ooh, that blurred out. So anyone watching this, yeah, you're not going to be able to see that too well. But that all influenced from actually from Instagram. So I've bought from every social media platform out there, and I do more of that every day, and I'm down with it. So that's my answer. Definite yes. Tim, how about you?
Oh, absolutely. Find some cool stuff
Yeah.
on yeah, stuff that you just wouldn't kind of think of uh out there. My most recent purchase is I got a headset cap for my bicycle that is Van Gogh's Starry Night. And what that does, it's a little about a 1 inch, 1 1/8 inch disc that goes where the stem that holds your handlebars is. And right now it's plain. I just got it yesterday. I put that on there. I'm going to put that on tonight. And so then I can look at some art while I'm riding my bike. So, I mean, lots of cool stuff.
I think there's a debate. There's two kinds of people. There are the people that don't want the social medias and the brands to know who they are. They want their privacy, and so and those people often don't get fed stuff that are as relevant because they keep stuff closer to the chest. And then the second brand of people are the people that say, I want the brands to know that I like it because I want more of that. And I think about Tim's answer and how I approach it, and probably Josh as well, and saying that the more that you get connected to the things that you like, the more things that you'll see that you didn't know existed out there. And I'm okay with saying, here's all my information, because you're going to make my life a little bit more interesting to what I actually like. I remember one of my mentors and friends in the business, Drew McClellan, who's a big Disney fan, years ago, he would give information to Disney because that made his experience when he went to Disney more relevant to what he likes to do. It's all about that data and how the brands can use it. And so I think there's two groups of people, and there's not a right or wrong way to it, but that impacts, I think, how our buying trends go. And by the way, I'm really surprised to hear that everyone except for the youngest generation in the room has bought something here. So, Taylor, anything you have to say about that?
I feel left out. Sounds like I need to buy something off TikTok or something.
Yeah,
Well, Josh,
Taylor, get with the
yeah.
times. Come on.
So what does this all mean? Paint the picture for us, Josh.
So it's funny because it kind of went in the opposite of what this data shows. And maybe that's because we're more tech savvy because we're on computers all day, we're on social media more. But so social media, YouTube ads, and internet search are the top ways both Gen Z and millennials discover new products. Gen X discovers new products on social media more frequently than any other channel, even though it isn't preferred. According to this, Gen Z or Gen X prefers to discover new products through search, television ads, and in retail stores. And for boomers, social media falls flat for boomers for discovering and buying products. TV ads, internet search, and retail stores are the top way boomers discover new products. Which sounds like the answer that I would expect for boomers, but it seems like Tim's bought the most stuff on social media than any of us. So
I have.
yes.
Probably
And
a good reason for saying that, even though statistics tell you one thing, and it may not really apply to every single person in that audience. Don't make generalizations.
yes, there are some common patterns, but for social media marketing in particular, it's about knowing your audience and what they're into. And part of that does have to do with age, but it varies. There might be a 70-year-old that's into yoga, and you have to cater your ads to that. It varies, and you have to get to know your audience and who exactly you're targeting.
Yeah, exactly. All right, before we wrap up, I'm going to throw us a curveball question for the end of the episode. And that is, how do you expect that your social media usage will change over the next 2 years? Taylor?
I need to decrease mine. That was not great news. So I think I'm gonna make it a goal for myself to try and reduce that as much as possible, so I'm not waking up on social media and going to sleep on it as well.
Yeah, good point. Josh, what do you think?
Um, Unfortunately, I think I'm going to use TikTok more. Um, and I already do some doom scrolling, as the young folk call it, but yeah, it's part of my career. I think a lot of we're going to see a lot more of TikTok in the future, assuming it doesn't get shut down or anything. And so it's going to be I'm going to have to spend more time on it. I've been avoiding it. I mean, I know enough about it to do marketing on it, but it's just like I don't want to get sucked in because I do get sucked in.
I'll say, "Come to the dark side, it's fun over here."
No, thank you.
Tim, how do you think your social media usage will change over the next couple of years?
Probably slightly decrease, I would imagine. The problem that I see, and this is contradictory to this whole podcast, but Instagram and Facebook um, aren't showing me too much relevant information anymore. Stuff that, my friends, I want to see on Facebook, I want to see what my friends are up to. Instead, I see sponsored posts and ads. Of course, I buy from those ads. So it's kind of, catch 22 there, but it does get a little bit frustrating at times. So I just kind of like, that's it. I'm done
Mhm.
and shut it
Freaking
off.
social media managers
Yeah, I know.
coming after you.
Well, and if that becomes a trend nationally, worldwide, then it's not social media. Now it's just entertainment and advertising.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what it is. And I'm hoping to explore more avenues in taking my own content through AI and seeing what the best use can be for my own personal content creation. And I think that's going to be a challenge because that's not an easy answer. All right. Well, thank you to Taylor, Josh, and Tim for being on the show and for giving your honest answers and revealing a little bit about who you are personally as a social media user. And thank you to the listeners out there for tuning in to another episode of 3 for 3. We hope you'll catch us next time. And until then, be well.